Is motion 73 formally seconded? Formally seconded. Now we move on to motion 74, which will be moved by Councillor John McGinley on behalf of the Maynooth branch, Kildare North.
Chair, comrades, income inequality in Ireland is now worse than it was 40 years ago. If we cannot address that inequality over the next 2 years, then we should not remain in government. The easiest way to tackle income inequality and help us out of receivership is through an emergency tax on the high earners. Our motion proposes an emergency tax of 7% on those 200,000 who are paid more than 80,000, so that the state would receive an additional $2 billion extra in taxes per year. This won't impact in any major way on the high earners, but it would mean that the middle and lower income earners would have more spending power. Such a measure would be seen as radical and stand us apart from the two Conservative parties. President Obama stated recently that economic inequality is the defining issue of our time. In the USA in 1960, top income tax was 91%. Today it is 35%. But the rich Americans, such as Mitt Romney, pay 15% or less. President Obama has promised to address this inequality if re-elected. Likewise, in France, the socialist candidate in the presidential election, François Hollande, has promised to introduce a tax of 75% on those earning over $1 million if elected. Sadly, Fine Gael won the argument on not increasing tax on the wealthier people in the last budget, and as a result, the poor have suffered disproportionately. If we are to achieve fairness and equality of income in Ireland, we have to go after the wealthy and high earners, and so introduce a Labour Party balance to get us out of this Fianna Fáil-created mess. We regularly hear our ministers saying that the country is in receivership, that we have lost our economic sovereignty and that it is not business as usual. If that is the case, we should be taking dramatic steps to reflect that reality. Prior to the last budget, ministers stated that there had to be hardship in order to raise $3.8 billion in the budget. The reality is that there is hardship for the low and middle earners and no hardship for the rest. For the high earners, it is business as usual. Indeed, for the very high earners, their income tax has reduced. If we have restored the minimum wage, we took 330,000 of the lowest earners out of the universal social charge net and delivered on our promise to protect basic social welfare rates. However, if we are to have any chance of retaining or increasing the number of our TDs after the next election, we have to be seen to have made a significant impact in government. If Fine Gael don't agree to our income equality policy over the next two budgets, then we should pull out of government and let the people decide on whether or not they want the taxation burden spread more equitably. I ask you to vote for the motion.